Hey scientists, we are ready for our first science class of first grade. And as you can see, I have my safety goggles on. That will help me when I'm doing a science experiment, although probably today I'll be flipping that over my head so I can see better. And then I have my lab coat on with my science pictures on it toward the bottom and even some lab boots to keep us safe in the lab. So, we are going to have fun today with our first science lesson, and we are going to be learning about the scientific method. What is the scientific method? That's a big word, and it's something that scientists use when they do experiments. And since we're going to be scientists this year and we're going to be learning all about science, we will be using the scientific method to help us with our learning and with our experiments. Because experiments will really help us learn all about the world around us. It helps us learn about all the wonderful things that God created. And listen, God created our world. We're learning that in Bible class, and we want to use all the senses that He gave us to learn more about the things that He created for us to enjoy. So, we're going to learn about the scientific method, and there are certain things that scientists do when they are doing an experiment, and that is what the scientific method is. That's why it's called the scientific method. It's just certain things that they do when they're doing an experiment. So one of the things that they do is they ask a question. Like that's the first part of the experiment. Like, what are we trying to figure out? So we're going to ask a question. Then there's kind of a poster down here. Let me move that around so we can see if you can see that. Then we're going to make a guess. And the big scientific word for guess is called a hypothesis. And a hypothesis is what you think will happen when you do the question. So, what is your guess or hypothesis? That's the scientific word for a guess when you're doing an experiment. So, the first step is they're going to ask a question, then they're going to make a guess or make a hypothesis. Then it's time to do the experiment. So then they take that question and they experiment with it to see what the hypothesis is, see what the outcome would be. That's testing their hypothesis. After they test it, the scientists will record what they've seen, and often they'll do it a couple times to make sure that their hypothesis is correct. And then they come up with the conclusion. What is the actual? Now, what is the actual answer to the question? Now, at the very beginning, we talked about there being a hypothesis. Our hypothesis, when you're a scientist, they're not always right. There are times that we think something's going to happen, and then we do an experiment, and then we conclude that what we thought was going to happen is not what happened. So sometimes, and even maybe even a lot of times, our hypothesis is different than our conclusion. And that's okay. We never change our hypothesis. Go, oh, I wrote the wrong answer. Let me change what I wrote so it matches the conclusion. We don't need to do that because guess what? It is okay to make mistakes. Do your best hypothesis when we do experiments. So, to help us learn the scientific method, I came up with the song for us to learn. We'll be singing this song whenever we do experiments in first grade. So I'm going to sing it for you one time. Then I want you to join me the next time. Now, you will know the tune to this because it's the tune to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Okay, that's the tune that we're going to use. Now my voice is kind of going. I've been teaching all day, so bear with me on my voice, okay? It's called the Scientific Method Song. Ask a question, make a guess. That's called a hypothesis. Plan a fair test, do the steps. Look and see just what you get. Make a conclusion and repeat. Being a scientist is really neat. All right, let's try it again. There's our question. That's the first step of the scientific method. Then we come up with a hypothesis. And do you remember what a hypothesis is? It's a guess. It's your best guess. That's right. That's called hypothesis. Plan a fair test. That means you're going to test your hypothesis. And then you're going to observe. You're going to look, record, and then you're going to write your conclusion on your paper. So, you ready to try that song with me? Remember, it's to the tune of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Now, hopefully I get it where you can see all the words on the, yeah, there we go. Scientific method song. Remember, it's the tune of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Ask a question, make a guess. That's called a hypothesis. Plan a fair test, do the steps. Look and see just what you get. Make a conclusion and repeat. Being a scientist is really neat. Great. We want you to have so much fun learning in science this year. And so we're going to do an experiment today and we're going to practice our scientific method with Play-Doh. So remember that bag you got and it had little tiny Play-Doh balls? You were going to need that today. And you're also going to need a paper that looks like this. And you're not going to use this paper yet. We're going to wait until toward the end. The third time we do the experiment, you are going to use the paper. The first two times we'll do it, I will use the paper, okay? And I will model for you. And then the last time you're going to do it with me. So you need to take out your Play-Doh and you take out your red and your yellow. Our question is going to be for our scientific experiment is what color will we get when we mix red and yellow? So I have a scientific paper there. So I need to first of all come up with a hypothesis. What do I think I will get if I mix red and yellow? Maybe it's kind of maybe pink. You know what? I don't know. I'm going to write pink though. So I'm going to write pink here because that's my guess. Now, we remember we talked about that sometimes our hypotheses are right and sometimes they're wrong. And it's okay if your hypothesis is wrong. That's why we're going to do the experiment and then we're going to see if it's correct. And if we're wrong, then we will know the right answer. So I asked a question. What color am I going to get when I mix red and yellow? I made my hypothesis. I made the very best guess. Do you think you know what color we're going to get? All right, say it out loud, but don't write it. Okay, now take out your red and your yellow, and we are going to mix it up. I want to sing a little song while we're mixing it up. So go ahead, just take out your little red and your little yellow. Not all of them, because I have them in little balls. We're going to use some of the colors again. So red and yellow, mix it up. Put it all together, put it all together. What do you get? What do you get? Red and yellow, mix it up. Are you mixing yours up? Mix it up. Put it all together, put it all together. Dropping it. What do you get? What do you get? First grade, what color did I get? I got orange, didn't I? So my observation is when I mix my red and my yellow, I got orange. I'm going to actually put it right there just so I can show my observation. And then in my conclusion, I'm going to write orange up. Look at my conclusion. Does it match my hypothesis? No, it doesn't. But is that okay? Yes, it is okay. Do you think I go back and change my hypothesis? No, we don't change our hypothesis. It's okay if our hypothesis is wrong. We just wanted to think of the best thing that we thought would happen, and then our conclusion should be correct. And you just helped me do the steps of the scientific method. Thank you for helping me. Now let's try another one. Let's do um, blue and red. Let's do blue and red, okay? So I'm gonna not use the same paper. I'm just gonna move it over and I'm gonna write my answers over here. So what do I think I will get if I mix blue and red? Now, again, you do not need to write it on your hypothesis paper yet. We're just going to do it out loud the first few times, and then the third time you will write it out. So I got my blue and I got red. Any idea what you think will happen if we mix blue and red? Maybe purple. I'm going to try purple. So I'm going to write that down for my hypothesis. If I mix blue and red, I think I'll get purple. So if I had my sheet, I would write purple on my hypothesis blank. All right, now it's time to ask a question. We made a guess. Now we need to do our experiment. So I'm going to sing our song while we all mix our Play-Doh, blue and red. Do it with me. Ready? Blue and red, mix it up, mix it up, put it all together, put it all together. What do we get? What do we get? Blue and red, mix it up, put it all together, put it all together. What do we get? What do we get? My hypothesis was correct. I got purple. So I'm going to put my purple blob there, and my conclusion was purple. Now, this time, my hypothesis and my conclusion matched. That's fine too. Sometimes you'll have the right hypothesis and sometimes you won't. That's okay. So now you are going to take out this paper and we're going to use this to record. So the next question is, what will we get when we mix blue and yellow? So I want you, before you mix it, is to come up with your hypothesis. What do you think you will get when you mix blue and yellow? Okay, write that color right there. So take out your Play-Doh, your blue and your yellow, and let's sing our song after you wrote your hypothesis. Ready? Let's go. Blue and yellow, mix it up, put it all together, put it all together. What do you get? What do you get? Blue and yellow, mix it up. Were you right? Mix it up. Put it all together. Put it all together. What do you get? What do you get? Did you get green? Did you get green? Awesome. That is the right answer. You may have guessed a different color than green, or you may have guessed green if you knew. Awesome. So whatever you wrote there is fine. Put your observation there, and I would just put my green Play-Doh there. And then at the bottom, you will write green for your conclusion. Scientists, you did it. We did our very first science experiment, and great job. I'm so proud of you. So we are done with science for today, but don't forget our scientific method. We're going to go out of class singing the song one more time. Oh, let's see, my sign kind of fell. So I'll hold it up. We'll practice it one more time. Ready? Ask a question, make a guess. That's called a hypothesis. Plan a fair test, do the steps. Look and see just what you get. Make a conclusion and repeat. Being a scientist is really neat. See you next time, scientists.